Okay, here we are. Shit, episode 8. Keeping it real with Geno finally back. What the fuck? Shit. Well, I mean, we're gonna get into it. I mean, it's been a hell of a year because, shit, man, I started really good. I started and had all this momentum. Did all this personal shit that, you can go back and on the YouTube channel and you can watch. Well, listen, because it's no video, but they're on there, and so you can listen to those. And I was really running it out of Podbean and doing an audio only, really podcast. And like I said, it was good and was getting traction, was gaining followers and shit. And then recorded an episode 8, and it was an interview with my daughter and her boyfriend, and then oh man, it just caused some serious fucking drama. And so, edited it, took out some shit, put it back up. It wasn't more drama. So finally, just took that whole thing down. And I don't know, man. It's kind of cool because today is August 8th. So, it's 8/8, and I'm recording my 8th episode. I like that 888 shit. I'm kind of a numerology dude. So when I see 888s line up like that, that's kind of some good shit. So, yeah, man, I thought that this video might be a little bit cooler. I just think it's a better way to maybe connect, and I don't know, man. So I'm gonna give this a shot. And look, this is my first go at it. And this is the other thing, the thing that I didn't want to, do a lot of, or why I gotta watch that shit. Why I didn't want to do a lot of the video shit was the editing, and so I'm gonna just fucking run it raw. I'm gonna keep that shit to an hour. I'm gonna watch my time. And yeah, man, I'm just gonna run that shit raw. And it is what it is. I mean, how can I not keep it real if we're like doing takes and shit? So yeah, man, I got my little notebook here. I got my notes, shit, and this is usually just how I roll, except on those other episodes I was just behind a mic. So it's gonna be the same thing. Uh, and I don't know. I was thinking about pulling the audio out and then uploading that shit as a audio only podcast still and keep doing it. But YouTube's the main spots where it's gonna run out of. So yeah, man, it's like been 2 years since my mom died, and like that's what like we were, because that last shit was May of 2022 when I did those last episodes, and at that time, we were like gearing up to go to Lawrence and have her first anniversary, kind of what we call a Rachel party, and you know it was kind of the first time, because she died the previous June. And then 2021, that whole year went through. She didn't want a funeral. She didn't want any of that. And so we really didn't do anything until the following year, which was June 2022. And yeah, man, it was really cool. We had this little, celebration in Lawrence at, it's called the Little White Schoolhouse. And it's really cool. It's like, I don't know, I'm going to say 1800s, little schoolhouse type shit. But yeah, the whole family kind of came in there and grouped together because when she was alive, that was kind of her thing, right? Like she was the one that would at least once a year, what we call Rachel parties. She would organize them and, try to get everyone together, and it never happened. I don't know. I know it never happened where everyone was together. So everyone did come together for this. So it was really nice. And so yeah, man, like, I was all that shit in May editing, and I kind of lost. I kind of focused my time with Lisa on making a video for my mom's celebration thing. And so, Lisa put together everything. you know, I was kind of sending her pictures and sending her music and, you know, kind of working on that after I lost momentum with the podcast shit. And then, you know, we roll into that. So that's all cool. Everyone meets in Lawrence. Like I said, we have that thing. And then, what happened next is, you know, I started looking into some of the, gig like side hustle shit because, you know, being in digital marketing, I'm at my computer like all day long. And, well, it's not all day because, motherfucker is a smoker. And so there is that time away. But anyway, when I'm working, it is working on my computer. And, yeah, man, sometimes, and it's, you know, just Lisa and I that are doing shit a lot. And so sometimes need to get out and like about in the, you know, and just get away and do shit, right? And so I looked at DoorDash and I looked at Instacart, and, you know, I was looking at some of those, Uber, Lyft. You know, I thought, shit, man, I'd drive motherfuckers around and shit. But, man, I was looking at the pay and it just wasn't, I don't know. I was wanting to hit like 40 an hour. And, I really couldn't with any of those, as I would like be like seeing what they pay and shit. And so what I did roll up on was Amazon Flex. And so, man, shit, with Amazon Flex, I can get that $40 per hour even after my gas costs. Um, just because motherfuckers fast, right? Like, I mean, you know, when I started doing that, you know, the way it is, you roll into an Amazon distribution center, and I'd take early mornings, right? So like 3:30 is when, and they'd be 4 hour blocks, unless so like 3:30 to 7:30 is the block I'd take, right? And so then you show up at the little Amazon spot and scan your shit, and they give you, you know, your, it's like orders for a 4 hour block, and right, it'll vary. Sometimes there won't be a lot, sometimes there will be, but it's never, I never found it too much for that block. Then, you know, shit, man, you take that shit to your car, you start delivering that shit. And, you know, I'm a systems dude, so, you know, naturally I developed a fucking system that was fucking very fast, very efficient, using multiple tubs type shit. Because I got a minivan, lay them seats down, have multiple tubs, number my shit. Like I would know what was what, so that when I hit the spot, grab that shit, walk up, deliver it, snap the picture, go back to the next one, and my packages are just right there next to me in the seat, right? So how I could average $40 an hour is, you know, I'm getting paid on 4 hour blocks, but shit, man, it's only taking me some, you know, 2.5, 3 hours with these motherfucking systems I put in place, right? And um, so yeah, then I was hustling that a lot, which took time away from having spare time to do podcast type shit, you know. And man, I did that for a few months and all through the summer. And the only downside for me about that was my drive to the distribution plant, or the distribution facility, uh, was, man, like 45 minutes. And so that's what kind of killed me sometimes, is calculating that rate there, because sometimes I'd end up motherfucking an hour away at my last stop of where I actually live. So that's what kind of sucked about that shit. But no, man, I was doing that all through the summer. And then the other thing I started, you know, continued to do all through the summer, like if you go back and listen to that spiritual journey podcast shit, was, yeah, man, continuing down some of that spiritual shit, right? And you know, some of the things that, like, some of the things that like I would connect with would be, you know, I always thought that it was like a mountain we have to climb. Like you put your goal there, and then you go, oh my God, you have to climb the mountain, or like, um, it's this river of life that people talk about, but like there are destined, there's a destination there. That's the goal, and like you got to fucking paddle and shit to get there, and like everything is like a lot of work to fucking do it, right? That was my previous thinking, and so then last summer I started shifting my mindset a little bit into more of a drawing things to us mindset, right? Of like trying to attract what I want instead of going to get it. And then how that works, what that means. Um, and like, thinking of like, yeah, here we are, like our lives, like we're this little harbor, and um, we've got all this water flowing in to where we reside, type shit. And I really felt like I needed to dredge my shit, right? Like, dredging, just like, I'm motherfucker be meditating and shit. Like, dredging would keep coming up, and doing dredges and dredging and like all of that shit. And so I started thinking about what that actually means. Like when you dredge something, what does that mean? And like it helps the fucking flow. So like it helps the flow come through, and without it, the water just kind of sits on top, type shit. It doesn't have these deep currents fucking pushing shit in, and like eventually that motherfucker will dry up too. If And so you got to dredge it. And when you're dredging shit up, which is really your past, right? You're dredging this shit up from the past and fucking dealing with it. Um, it takes a lot of work. It brings up a lot of fucking, I guess, underlying trauma that motherfuckers had that, you know, thought they maybe dealt with, and then start to feel guilty about some of those things, that where your mindset is going, and then allowing those feelings to then you react to how those, like all that shit, right? It just starts dredging up shit. And for you, um I found that merely sometimes my presence around people that motherfuckers got issues with would just fucking dredge up shit. And um you know I had to get to the mindset of that. It's like, it's all this shit, right? It's like, and spiritual people will talk about it a lot, and you'll hear other, you know, story things about it, whether it be the shadow self or the dark side or motherfucking evil side, whatever. Um, you know, that's who I felt had, like, that side had overtaken my true self, type shit. And so I was resonating and living in a world where this darker self was kind of like running shit. And um, that's what I worked on all this past year, was not only dealing with all of that shit that motherfucker is about, but like trying to fucking crucify him, kill him, do whatever I can to make sure, get behind me, like I mean, all these fucking terms of like to keep him down, right? And that's what I mean. I thought I killed that motherfucker, and I thought I dealt with it, and I thought that I was on this fucking path of fucking good shit. And then motherfucker gets a little lazy on some shit, you know, and I'll be goddamn if that motherfucker didn't like rise from the dead type shit a little bit and like make his appearance known, like in certain fucking circumstances. And so it's like, hey, the good, you know, like it's like the good thing is yeah, man, dealing with shit, but the bad thing is that this motherfucker still is like coming up type shit. And so I had to get to the point that like dredging wasn't just a bad thing. Like, you know, hey, there's another side of it. Dredging this shit up doesn't always have to be bad. There can be positives that come out of it as well. Um, and like it led me to a story that I thought about my dad, right? Like, all right, so this is some old Wichita shit. Okay, so like they have a river there. It's called the Arkansas River, and they wanted to have a water ski tournament on the river. Okay, and in order to have this water ski tournament, they were going to have to dredge the river to make it deeper so that the boats, the speedboats could go through and like no one's going to get fucking hurt and shit. And so, and it's pretty shallow. It was pretty shallow. And so, they had to like dredge all this fucking dirt out from the bottom of, you know, dam the river, like dredge it all out. And then it's like, what the fuck do we do with all this fucking dirt? Right? Like, what the fuck, you know, what are we going to do with all this fucking dirt that, like, we're dredging out? And so, shit, my dad, some other fucking people from the city were like, shit, let's just put it, let's dig it out of the river and then let's put it in this empty area here. We'll make a big mound of dirt, and then at the front of it, we'll build a motherfucking stage. And so that shit was called West Bank Stage because it was on the west bank of the river. And yeah, man, it was a big mound. And so what would happen is they'd have concerts there and shit. People would sit all on top of this big hill all around it. You know, they'd have it all fenced off around it, cut the street off, put booths up and shit, fucking vendor carts, like all that fucking, have big events there. Like it became, you know, like a fucking event space. Um, and it was fucking great. So like that was like taking something that they could have just like carted it away, not dealt with it, but chose to like do something positive with it and like create this cool thing, right? So that was the positive side of the story of what became of my dad's dredging shit. the motherfuck, the motherfucking negative side of it is that by damming or whatever by damming it and like dredging it, apparently it caused a whole bunch of motherfucking fish to die. Downstream, upstream was cool, but there was some downstream effects of the dredging process. And shit, man, the newspaper, Wichita, the newspaper, the Eagle, motherfuckers were like, um, fish killer, all this kind of shit. Um, and like, so it had like this little kind of gloom over the water ski tournament. Whatever though, man, it turned out great. West Bank Stage lasted for years. Uh, shit's gone now. Motherfucking public library is built in that spot. Um, so didn't last forever, but man, it sure it was all good for a long time. And so that's what I'm saying with like dredging shit. Like it really led me to kind of see that, well, there's two sides of this and there's that, and like, you know, um, working on manifesting things, like I said, you know, trying to draw them to me instead of like working hard and like trying to deal with this shit, like work on changing my whole mindset of how I think and like drawing shit to me, and the power of motherfucking words. Like, I don't know, man. Like, personally, I kind of feel like words can be some fucking spells type shit, man. You know, like they words carry power, and you know, words matter, and I got a problem with that. Like, sometimes the words that come out of my mouth can be really hurtful to people type shit. Some, you know, especially the ones closest to me, and like that's the shit that I dread, that I was, you know, dealing with, and like really trying to work hard on that, and like be nice and loving and like all of that shit. And so that's the other thing I was working on this past year. And motherfucking energy. Uh Learning about energy and how we resonate a certain frequency, and semantics and semantics, and like putting sand on a motherfucking vibrating thing, and like different frequencies can create either really cool fucking shapes or fucking really distorted, weird looking fucking shit. Um, and then, you know, taking that same mindset and trying to apply that to myself of like who I am, and like what things do I resonate with, and like not even trying to use the word hate, you know, just kind of be like, um, yeah, man, like I just don't resonate with that shit, you know, because I feel like that word hate has a strong negative fucking energy power type shit, and that we're all energy, right? And like we're all fucking vibrating at different levels, and the things that we fill our mind with are the things that we usually resonate with, and really trying to not put what I consider low vibrating things into my mind, and really trying to work on that shit. I was working on that shit last year. Um, and like I said, you know, we had already talked a little bit about like just the magnets, and like almost where the frequency at which we resonate is the same frequency that we attract. And, you know, if motherfucker wants to stay at a low vibrating level type shit, then fucking fill your head with low vibrating shit. Um, and so motherfuckers working on that shit. And, you know, things like grounding, right? Like, man, I spent like all my summers, you know, I like all during the summer, I really try and like keep barefoot, because once again, all this energy, right? Like I feel like there is energy emitting from this earth, and I want to try to harness it in any way that I fucking can. And to me, shoes are an insulator of that because of the fucking rubber. I mean, you know, Rubber's a fucking insulator of fucking energy. And so, in my opinion, and in my mindset, um, it blocks that shit. And so, yeah, that's the other thing that I kind of added to my thing is like, man, just being, especially the neighborhood that I lived in, motherfucker was nice shit. Walking on some fucking plush grass, like fucking carpet. Um, so yeah, man, incorporated some of that shit. Uh, and then stop going down rabbit holes. Cause I'm telling you, like since 2020, like man, I feel like I could have went down every rabbit hole there was as far as motherfucking conspiracy theories go, and who we are and what are we here for, and oh my God, is it Ashtar from the Galactic Federation, or is it Jesus, or is it I don't fucking know. I'm just saying, like I just kept feeling that like no matter what it is, there's everyone's looking for a fucking savior. Trump. Oh my God, he's gonna save us. Oh, he's saving the children, and like I think that whole fucking shit's a psyop, man. I think it's all a fucking old ass Nazi propaganda fucking tactic to fucking control fucking people. And so, but no, man, I was in, like, I checked it out and like tried to resonate with it. And like with all the, I tried to really, man, like, keep my mind open. Like, I don't know, maybe, but man, that's all that shit does is there's more fucking rabbit holes to go to, more fucking rabbit holes to go to, more fucking rabbit holes. And it's all bullshit to fucking keep us distracted and to keep our mind distracted from really drawing into us and resonating with what it is we truly want um, our lives to be. And yeah, man, so shit. I don't really do that shit no more. I mean, now I ain't gonna lie. Some of them motherfuckers that I went down, I still uh um so I'm not gonna say every single one is a lie. Because goddamn, I mean, some of these motherfuckers is kind of true. But anyway, I don't I don't put my energy there anymore because that's what I feel, man. Like all through COVID, like I was doing it until like up until last year. Um, and then like who who do I identify with as like who I am? Like, I can be like, oh, I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a son, I'm a employee, hard worker, entrepreneur, uh, like all these things, right? But it's like none of that like is who I am. Like that, those are labels that fucking talk about me, and so then I started thinking about how motherfuckers do really have to label everything. Like some things just can't be. It is what it is. It's always got to be fucking labels and fucking classifications and motherfucking categories and like uh, everything, right? Like the fuck? Like we're always labeling. Oh, like oh, that's what this is, or that's what that is, and then after that label's been applied for a while, it's kind of like the name of that's played out. Like let's change it to fucking something else, and it like really means the same motherfucking thing, but it's like a motherfucking rebrand of the label. Jeez. hate that shit. And then the other shit I hate is fucking division. Like, I do kind of hate that shit in math, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, it's like the first thing we want to do is like label and then divide. Okay, here's the label. Who divide, divide, divide. Everything's fucking divided. United States. Jesus. Divided. Like, oh, you're red or blue? Who's your team? Walk into a football stadium. It's not like, hey, motherfuckers are all here. Fucking pick a side, motherfucker. You sit on that side. We'll sit on this side. And I always thought that like sometimes that division was bad. And like, oh my gosh, all that's bad. And you know, I labeled shit. Oh, it's evil, or oh, don't do that. That's wrong, or oh, that's good, or that's bad, or even that's, and not like looking into the fact of like everything has duality, right? Like this motherfucking lighter can cause a forest fire, but it could also save your life if you're a fucking cold stuck in the middle of nowhere. So you can't look at the fucking lighter and be like, oh, you're fucking bad. And just an example type shit. And so I started looking at like the duality of everything, right? Like, you know, I feel that everything has duality. Like I could, if I choose to focus on everything that's bad about something, yeah, I'd be like, oh my god. But or in the same thing, if I chose to focus on only the things that are good and ignore the bad, that's not really like accepting the full thing of what it is. And then it kind of led me more to like, that's what causes energy. Like, it has to fucking exist. The duality of things has to fucking exist because that is how energy is created. It's the positive and the negative plug shit. Like, motherfucker puts two positives on a plug and plugs it in, ain't gonna work. You gotta have both to create the energy. And so I can't look at the plug and be like, oh, it's called positive, so it must be good. And oh, this is called negative, so it must be bad. And that's some dumb shit. Like, no man, this motherfucker is just the positive side. And this motherfucker is just called negative. I don't, somebody fucking chose to fucking fill our brain that the word negative means fucking bad when it's just a negative charge. It's just a lower charge. And this is a higher charge, and it's as above, so below type fucking shit. You know, you see fucking people doing that shit. The goddamn uh fucking SAG, the writer's strike, their fucking symbols, this fucking shit. Trying to draw that energy into themselves. They fucking get it. I know they do. Like to me, when I look at that shit, I'm like, oh yeah, and they're right in the center, man. They're trying to draw that fucking energy into them so that they can get their fucking deal. That's how I think, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a motherfucking logo. That's what I'm saying. You know? Motherfucker just might want to look like John Travolta or some shit. Like he fucking want disco fever. But like that's what I mean, man. And like trying and like realizing that we all have a different perspective of things. You know? Like um when other motherfuckers look at that, dude, and they may not even think as above, so below. They don't even know what the fuck that means. they may think, oh yeah, John Travolta. And that don't mean that they're wrong. And it don't mean that I'm right. And it don't mean that, oh, I am so much better than you because my spirituality, I look at things so deeply. So it was at this point that I discovered that my phone had ran out of space and was full. And so I was talking for 10 more minutes and it wasn't recording. So I fixed it, and here's the rest of the pod. But then what happened is motherfucker rolled up on some hermetic principles. And so I'd already been down the religion path, right? Like all these different religions, seeing how they're similar stories, how old they are, like all of them are very similar to me. And like, but these fucking hermetic principles, man, I really started to resonate with. And so, like, the first one is mentalism. And like, everything is mental. Everything. Like, not that it's not like real, like it's all in our head. What we draw to us, how we react, how we think, like it's all mentalism. Everything's mentalism. The second one is correspondence. And correspondence is that as above, so below theory, right? Like, um, everything is connected type shit. Um, so that, like, to me, that's what that is. And then the third one is vibration. Everything's vibrating. Everything vibrates. Everything has a resonance and a frequency and everything. And yeah, so there's that. Uh, fucking fourth one, polarity. There's fucking duality in everything. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was all these things that I was like discovering on my own, and then I roll up on these motherfuckers. Like, it's not like I saw these things first and then tried to like step back and be like, oh, how can I incorporate it in my life? Like, I was already resonating and trying to incorporate all of those things, and then these fucking hermetic principles pop out at me, and was just like, I don't know, fucking confirmation that, oh shit, yeah, man, you're fucking doing the right thing, and um, this is what these motherfuckers are called. Um, Rhythm, fifth one. Rhythm is everything has ins, like tides. They go in, they go out. Everything has a flow. It's a pendulum. Like, you're gonna have lows and you're gonna have highs. No one's just sitting up here on the highs. You gotta swing through the lows, and when you're swinging through the motherfucking lows, hang on. Woo! Hang the fuck on. Because, like, if you want to get to big highs and really like reach up here type shit, like this motherfucker, someone doing this shit, boring ass boring life. Like, no real highs, no real lows. Motherfucker's just in a low, right? And so then, this. And like, the higher you go, the lower it goes so that you can swing up higher, right? Or like a little motherfucking bouncy ball, you know? Like, you barely hit it on the ground, like you just go think think, motherfucker might come up this high. Like, that ain't no high. And his lows is really soft. It's just big, 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 big. And I'm telling you, man, people go through their lives like that way. I think them motherfuckers are NPCs or whatever. But yeah, man, that's how they go through their life. Just beep, 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 just tight. Now, I'm like, man, how do I get a big high? Like, how? Motherfucker wants to be living up here for part of the time and have bigger highs in their life, not drugs, like life shit. Um, well, fuck. To get that motherfucker up that high, you're gonna have to hit it down pretty fucking hard. And that motherfucking low is gonna hurt. It's gonna sting a little. But it's gonna be good. Because after that low's over, that motherfucking ball's gonna bounce up all good. Like it's gonna be all good. And same with the pendulum, right? Like, how do I get it to swing way up here and like hold for just a minute before it has to go back down? Well, sir, you're gonna have to fucking swing it pretty low. In order to achieve that fucking height, you are going to have to go through a lot of low shit so that you can fucking come up that high. But that's rhythm. So it's kind of where I'm at right now. And then 6 is cause and effect. So karma, like polarity, that's like yin yang, black white, like red blue, that's polarity. Fucking cause and effect is like, karma shit, like the bad shit you do, the motherfucker's gonna come back at you hard, So the harder you push people, man, the harder people probably are gonna motherfucking push you back. you know? And know that the words motherfucking uses, the things like that, if it comes out pretty fucking harsh, just like it's fucking got rhythm, the bounce effect's gonna be fucking. And then the last one is so motherfucking gender. Gender. I'm not talking about some sexual shit. I'm talking about the fact that motherfuckers all have this inner child within us, right? Let me see where I'm at on time. All right, I'm good. We all have this inner child within us. And that motherfucker just wants to have fun, right? He really and truly does just want to have fun. But maybe that inner child experienced a lot of trauma. And they're trying to deal with that. Or maybe the little fucking child doesn't even know how to have fun. Because his whole life, the motherfucker has had to be responsible, felt like he needed to be responsible for so much shit. That maybe this little motherfucker wants to have some fun, but like, I don't know. He just don't know how. Everyone has that, right? Like everyone's different. Everyone has little shit, like these little children within us, right? And then like this gender shit that I'm talking about, it's like we've got to have this male female energy fucking centered. And that's what I mean when I'm talking about female energy. I'm not talking about like sexual identity. I'm talking about the right brain, left brain shit, the emotion versus fucking logic shit. I'm talking about that. That like we need, as I believe, as humans, we need to identify and balance with both and align ourselves with both and not be too far one way or too far the other way, because you can't achieve balance right like that, right? Like balance. That's the other motherfucking word I didn't bring up. Fuck, balance is not so fucking important. It's not one of these motherfucking principles, but like, that's fucking important. And if you're off balance or you put too much time in this, like, it doesn't flow. It just doesn't move because it's clumpy and it's fucking like a wheel with like a motherfucking broken spoke or some shit. Like there's too much gas, motherfucking boom, and it goes boom, right? Like fuck. Um, and so that's what fucking happened. And so that gender shit, like trying to align with all of this shit, and like that's the seventh one. And so yeah, man, it's mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, uh, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. And so, man, I really identified heavy with those, man, and like really started like motherfucker just said he didn't deep dive into some shit. Well, fuck, I mean, I will admit, motherfucker did go. I kind of look into some of that shit, and but I just kept resonating with it all, right? Like, and so that's what I mean. Is it another motherfucking psyop that I'm in? I don't fucking know. But like, I feel like those things aren't hurting anybody, and if I can achieve that it would be good for me. Um. So yeah, man. And so then, like all that shit I just talked about, right? Like all of that, um, and spending time in all of that, because like the other shit I was, like I said, man, it's more than that, man. Look, I checked out Flex. We talked about that. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, Instacart, Shipped, Roadie, GoPuff, and Spark. And I didn't talk about how that motherfucking Spark one, the Spark app, it's Walmart delivery. So you can go like you can either shop and deliver, you can just do curbside pickup, or of groceries, or they've got packages. So it's just like the flex shit, right? Like Walmart's got their own package, or you can just do like a package run. And so, man, I got hooked up on that shit. Oh man, I'm tell I can make nice money. I don't know if it's where I live, whatever, but like very close to Walmart's, and so I have no drive time. Like I did, that 45-minute drive time doesn't exist. When I love to take the shops, right? Because you're paid by the hour, right? And so anytime that I can take something that's paid at a pretty high hourly rate and then cut that motherfucker into like 20 fucking minutes. Oh shit, I'm doing that shit. Like, man, they'll fucking give you like an hour to shop for like 30 things or some shit. Man, please. I'd be flying through that shit so fast because motherfucker has really the only place I've shopped my whole. So I know where everything is. This app will tell me the fucking aisle, the section, and all that shit, but motherfucker already knows. He just looks at the list, and I'm just fucking going through, fucking scanning it. Throw that shit, deliver that shit. Hey, the Spark app get paid every fucking week. So no, that Spark app's nice because oh man, I can hustle some good little extra side income. And that's what I'm saying, man. That was like, and shit, I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping this shit up. Like that is my, you know, June through mid-October. That's that's the shit motherfucker was doing, um, last year. And then I ain't even gonna get into fucking October. I'll save that for the next fucking episode. Because that's what I'm saying, man. It just fucking life is like that, right? It just keeps going. And, you know, we can always put excuses about why we don't want to do shit, or like, motherfuckers will never achieve their dreams or whatever. But like, you see, man, I'm just throwing shit out everywhere. You see, I'm gonna commit to this motherfucker right here, keeping it real, because it's shit. Like, it's my outlet. You see, I got my dad and me, our little beer guys podcast, fucking shit we're trying to launch. You know, I'm like, man, this motherfucker is an award-winning motherfucking disc jockey, right? Fuck that, multi-award-winning fucking disc jockey, and man, he's got so much fucking talent when it comes to like when we do these shit, man. I put that shit on him, man. This motherfucker just snaps to life, right? Like, boom, he's on, and that's what I mean, man. He's motherfucker. It's why we moved to Wichita. You'll go listen to that episode of his radio career. So like, man, I just want the motherfucker's final thing to be cool, and so like it's one, you know, shit. I'd like to just go around, be able to do that shit. And then like these video tours for real estate agents, man, that's something else that's really starting to finally fucking pop off for us, man. I feel like now is finally the fucking right time for those. You know, motherfuckers been trying to hustle those since 98. 1998. Motherfucker had this concept of fucking voiced video tours. Here we are. Motherfucking 2023. Feel like it's finally fucking time. And so like that's just some more like never fucking quit shit. Right? Like just because, you know, it it didn't work then doesn't mean it was a bad idea. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do shit. Just might have been timing. Might not have been in the proper rhythm. You know what I mean? Me, you know, as a person myself, might not have been able to handle what that might bring because I was dealing with too much internal shit and I couldn't let it truly flow into me because I'm too, you know, my fucking uh, path is all fucking filled with shit and I had to dredge that shit out and all that fucking. Um, so yeah, man. So like all that's positive, right? Like, hey man, all that sounds fucking cool, right? Like, man, that's really good. Hooray, cool, great. Well, there's a downside of all of that. The downside of all of that is, you know, you start because I don't have proper balance and I have an addictive fucking nature that once I see something, man, motherfucker will go all in, like hard, everything, um, and will tend to. It's just not balanced, right? And so then what happens is then I'm neglect because of this shit that I'm working on, all that fucking shit. I'm now neglecting other people around me and close to me. And so that's what I mean, man. Motherfucker is a work in progress. For real. I mean, by the way, I don't even know what these rocks are. Does anyone know what these rocks are? I'm in Wichita, by the way. Got a little client meeting. All right, man. I'm gonna wrap this up. I gotta go. So Thanks for watching. Subscribe, follow. I'm gonna keep this shit updated. You know, motherfucker only went through June, July, August, only went through 4 months. And I don't know, maybe y'all motherfuckers don't care. But shit, I don't know. It just feels good to fucking maybe connect with some people, put that shit out there. I think that if we all had the courage to tell our own stories and connect, we would see like motherfuckers are really more similar than low battery shit. Motherfuckers are more similar than we are different. And I don't know. So that's just me. Thanks, y'all. Till next time. Peace out.